Alright, what's going on, dudes, and welcome back to SkyBlock. This time, as I'd mentioned a while back in the last episode, we'll be making another type of elevator. This one is modeled off of a design I saw in a video by a guy who goes by Seth Bling. I'll link the original video in the description just to give credit where credit is due. But it uses a set of 4 pistons in order to create sort of a conveyor belt type system. And then it takes advantage of fence gates in order to create the elevator car. So reason why is that fence gates, when they're opened, will allow you to pass through them. However, they'll still register as a block to a piston, and they can push another block along. However, we'll be doing things a little bit differently. So this over here, well, it doesn't look like this piston is actually touching this piece of cobblestone. However, you are oh so wrong. So it looks like this magical barrier, magical buffer between the piston and the cobblestone that allows it to be pushed. What it actually is, if you can perhaps see the outline of it while my cursor is over it, it's a stair block edited to data value. I don't remember because I copy pasted it from Deep Space Turtle Chase, but this mechanism was used a whole bunch in Deep Space Turtle Chase in order to create large piston doors that could be passed through by players, because this block registers as not being there for a player. However, it still pushes a block along, and as opposed to the fence gates, it doesn't have the fence gates getting in the way of your eyes. So that's what we'll be using for this one. I'll have to do a little bit of MC editing, get it all in place at the end, but now that you know sort of what's going on, yeah, we'll get started. And by the way, that block totally works in vanilla. Only mods I have in right now are single player command, zombies mod, and I think that's, yeah, too many items. Obviously, it requires a mod to implement that block. However, once it's there, it works on any client. So anyway, let's get started building this thing. So it requires a set of 4 pistons. The reason I'm starting it a block below this little branch off is to make it easier to hide the redstone. And we're just going to set up sort of a conveyor belt type thing right here that's going to push some blocks along and raise this up, and it can take us back down as well. Obviously, there's a 14 block limit for each one of these conveyor belts, so we're going to have to copy paste them to get all the way up to the top of the mop trap, or XP grinder, pardon me. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, we can build this thing up 14 blocks. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And we're going to want the piston to be on that 14th block. So right there. And we want this last spot to be empty because a piston can only push 13 blocks. So we want a gap on each side. So let's count again just to verify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Cool. All right, so now let's go ahead and make the other side. And we're going to want the downward facing piston to be right here. I don't know why I'm making these sticky. They shouldn't be. So let's fix that. I'm so used to building everything with sticky pistons that I just go to them by default. So let's fix that. There we go. Okay, so now we'll fill in this side. And we'll leave a 1 block gap at the bottom. Right there. Okay, so that's our basic outline of the elevator. Now we're going to have to wire up the redstone needed in order to make this thing work. I'm actually, just for the sake of practice, going to put some obsidian to block the ends of this thing, just so that if we do make a mistake, it doesn't send cobblestone all over the place. So yeah. So next thing we need to do is we need to wire up the clock. Now, I'm trying to think of how much of a delay we need to build our clock in. Trying to think back to the video. I don't really remember. So we'll build it back over this way. I think, well, if we need each piston, we're going to want the sideways facing pistons to fire at the same time, and then 2 ticks later, after these have extended and retracted, we want the up and downward facing pistons to fire. So we will make a clock that has 4 ticks. If we need to change it up later on, we can always do that, but hopefully this will work. So let's go like so, and connect the 2 together. And each time we want to start this, we're gonna have to put a lever up here or something, and we'll have to flip it really quickly, just with a quick. Let's get a lever just to do it as an example. So what do we not need? We'll put away the torch right now. Grab the lever and quick flick. Try that again. And there we go. So that should be enough. And then we'll alternate with a delay. So we'll have this one fire first. Well, not yet. We'll outline the redstone first, and then we'll wire it over to here. Add a 2-tick delay, and then we'll wire on up to the top. So let's create sort of a staircase system that will take our redstone all the way up and hope that it can be easily concealed. We'll see, especially when we have to sort of stack this over and over. So, all right. Okay, now that that's sort of out of the way, we can add redstone, and we may need to add a repeater somewhere. Alright, so I was experiencing a little bit of technical difficulty. Either I was mistaken or the pushing limit was reduced from 13 to 12, because right now we've got 13 on there and the piston won't actually fire, but when we remove the top and try once more, then it will fire. So yeah. Anyway, gap has been changed from, or the amount it can push has been changed, so we'll just have to do a little bit of adjustments up here in order to lower each block by 1. Not too big of a deal. Alright, and there we go. Now that problem is solved, and all we should have to do now is I wired up the redstone through this little column, and we'll just have to get it timed all correctly. So I'm probably going to do a little bit of a trial and error to get it to work, and once it's all done, you will see it. Ooh, alright, so after a little bit of trial and error, I finally got something that's working at an adequate speed, and seems pretty good. So let's test it really quickly. And I think that's actually the maximum speed that you can get with pistons firing at 2 ticks. I think in the video he may have had them firing at 1 tick. I'm not sure if that still works. If it does, it would definitely be faster than this is right now, but again, since it's all working and the timing is up to par at the moment, I don't really want to mess around with it too much more. So we've got 1 tick going into this first piston here, and we've got 3 ticks going into the second one. So each one is offset by 2 ticks. And then likewise, these are offset by the exact same delay, and the up and down pushing pistons are matched up with the left to right pushing pistons, and that creates our conveyor belt. So I am going to actually create a little bit of a framework just to make it look nice, and then in order to add those data value stair blocks, we're going to have to go into MCedit, and we'll replace every other block in here with those, and then we'll have our elevator carts, and it will be awesome. So yeah, let's go ahead and build some stuff to hide the redstone. Okay, so that'll be our framework. The rest will just be sheets of cobblestone that I can do much easier in MCedit. So let's just check to make sure that it is still working. And indeed it is. So I'm going to actually outline the spots that we need to put in our data value blocks. And then we'll head on into MCedit and get it done. Okay, so here we are as always in MCedit. I'm going to import the one block schematic that is the invisible block, and then we're gonna put it in these little gaps that I have pre-created. So it looks like a standard piece of cobblestone in MCedit, but when we get back into Minecraft, it'll look a little bit cooler. And it'll be invisible. So now we'll clone it to there. And we will clone that little section. We're just going to have to keep track of where we have put these. We're going to clone that over to right there, right next to it. And then we are going to clone that entire 4-block area right here. And we're just going to keep on cloning that little area until we've filled up all the gaps in the elevator. Clone there, and clone once more. And that should be all we need to do. Now it looks like a solid thing of cobblestone, but as soon as I save and we head back into game, it'll look like, well, a conveyor belt elevator. Conveyor Beltevator. And there we have it. If we take a look inside, we can't really make out anything except outlines in the video. I'm not even sure if you're going to be able to make out the outlines. But when we start it up again, it should still work, and we'll just see these floating blocks getting pushed up. So let's do that. And oh, what's this? Magical floating conveyor belt block things going up and down in a magical loop. So let's get in and see if it works. All right. Oh god, we're falling. We need to put a wall on the back. That'll make it easier. Otherwise, yeah, probably will fall into the void. So let's do that. And then we'll test it once more. And it should work a little bit more effectively. Okay. Now that we've done that, let's try getting in again. And oh, up we go. It kind of spazzes, but hey, we made it. We made it without any fly mod. See, fly mod is off. And yeah, so that is our elevator. All I have to do now is conceal it. I'll do that off screen because it's just creating slabs of cobblestone to hide all the redstone. Then I'll copy paste it all the way to the top of the grinder, and it will be amazing. So yeah. So quick update. I just concealed all the redstone here so that you can't see anything except obviously the pistons while they're firing at the top and the bottom, and except this little bottom area down here. But I'll get to that later because it's not relevant to the whole copy paste. But surprisingly, they must have changed something in 1.0. I guess I haven't checked into this in a little while, but the clock actually keeps working when I quit the save and come back in. So that's pretty cool. We don't need to start some sort of mechanism in order to fire up the clock each time we reload the save. It seems like it's just working. So yeah, we can go on up. And if we stay on too long, it'll push us back and we will go on down. So you get You get both ways, and then it'll throw us back up if we want to again. So let's go in, see if I can exit up at the top once more by holding forward, and there we go. Except there would be a walkway to catch us otherwise. So now I'm going to go and try to get this thing all copy-pasted and working, and I'll see you when that's done. Okay, so I can't decide whether or not this is exceptionally ugly or if it is a beautiful piece of machinery, but all I know is that it works, and that's what matters to me. So let's fire it up. All right, elevator number 1, check. Elevator number 2, check. And elevator number 3, check. So, wired it all together, really simple. Go away, snow. I just took the top portion of the first one here and wired it out, and then just wired it right into the same exact portion as is wired in by the clock over here. And then over on this side, I just had to wire up another column that I'll have to conceal, and that's powering this one. So let's take a ride all the way up, and yeah, hold forward as we're going on the elevator in order to ensure that we escape when we can. And wait, enter car, turn around, hold forward once again, and we're out. And last trip up. Wait for the car, turn around, and all the way at the top of the XP grinder. So I'd say that's a success, even though it's a little bit awkward when you're inside the elevator with all the blocks rendering and stuff, but it still gets the job done. So anyway, the only thing I really would have left to do if I wanted to is conceal the remaining redstone, which I will do, I think, on my own time. And then next episode, I will show you the finished cobblestone formation. But as is, the proof of concept works and everything, and I'll just have to figure out how I'm going to try to make this look pretty, because I am no design builder person. I just like to put things together with the sort of bare minimum in aesthetics. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching, and that's about going to do it for this episode. Oh, and I should mention, I would certainly love to have some suggestions as to what I should pursue in the next episode and the ones following that. So if you'd like, you can leave a comment, let me know what you'd like to see, whether it be a vanilla challenge, not taking advantage of any mods, or some more redstone constructions, whatever you would like. And yeah, that said, thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you next time.